And it is Friday, the big day, the day that everybody looks forward to all week, except for those of us weekend warriors that work on the weekends. But that's okay. It still means that my family's off tomorrow and Sunday, and we all get to go play and have fun. I hope you're ready for a great stretch of weather. I also hope you're ready for a great coffee talk. We've got the weekend forecast, plus it's Friday. It's the quieter season, which means we also have a guest stopping by the drive-thru. You're going to get to meet Tim, who in a few minutes that he and I have chatted already, seems like a really nice guy. So our trend of being undefeated and really great people to meet from Coffee Talk looks to continue. We'll chat with you, Tim, here in just a couple of moments' time. But let's just get things established. Let's get started, shall we? And look outside. There's downtown Orlando, blue skies. Ooh, it's gorgeous. Oh, and it is a nice and cool start, too. Temperature-wise, we're sitting at about 58 degrees in the city. It's 56 in Leesburg. I've got my, florally shirt on because, it's Friday, A. B, I'm not working, and C, temperatures are rebounding into a wonderfully mild stretch. So, yeah, it's cool this morning, but that's not going to stay the entire day, and I think that that's probably one of the best parts. Nikki, good morning to you. Nancy, Linda, good morning. Jan, Dana, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Pat, good morning to you. So it's a nice, cool start. Let's just check just to make sure. I could tell you the radar's quiet. There's an interference spike because somebody's illegally broadcasting on our signal. Why does the FCC license if they also allow people to jump on your signal and they don't go after them? I don't know. Anyway. All right. Forecast today. Partly cloudy skies. We're through the upper 60s by 11 o'clock. We're getting into the 70s, mid, even upper 70s. So it's going to be a beautiful day. Partly cloudy skies. A nice dry forecast. And really and truly, that pattern is going to continue looking ahead through the weekend. Let's just take a look at what we've got for you. This weekend, winds are going to kind of start sneaking. You see how they're kind of coming in from the east and south? Temperatures getting into above average territory. And that's not just Saturday. That's also into Sunday. We actually get even warmer as there's a more steady southerly wind. So if you like comfortable, if you like cool mornings and mild afternoons, I think you're going to like this overall forecast. For today, here's how we shape up temperature-wise. Averages are on the right, high temperature forecast on the left. We are mid to upper 70s for average. We are mid to upper 70s for actual forecasts. So yeah, that's looking great. It's a great forecast if you're wanting to head out to the area attractions such as the Magic Kingdom. Today, 9 to 8. Fantastic Friday forecast. I kind of wish I was doing that. We're celebrating. We're getting together. We're celebrating Hanukkah. My brother, my sister-in-law, my two nephews. But so family's getting together, and that's a great thing. But it's like when you see a forecast that looks like this, I just want to go to Disney. But that's just me being selfish. I'm not. I'm excited to be with family. But I also, can I have both? Can I have my cake and eat it too? Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, let's talk high temperatures today across Central Florida. Let me find the thing. That's tomorrow. Stand by. That's today. Here we are. Upper 70s in the metro, mid 70s across Marion County, even mid 70s back over to our coastal communities. So it is a beautiful, beautiful afternoon this morning. The only issue that you'll have as you step out the door is the fog. There have been dense fog advisories in our western areas. You can still see that blanket of kind of white there. That is indicating that the fog is still with us. It's not in the metro where I live, not here. Out there to the west, Leesburg, quarter-mile visibility. Wildwood down to near nothing. Quarter-mile around Ocala. And keep in mind, these are numbers from airports. It could be a little bit better just down the road, that sort of thing. But generally speaking, we are doing just fine. So, great-looking forecast. Let's take a look at what we've got for tonight. High school football. Really great stuff. Playoffs, I believe. Sebring, Merritt Island. Temperatures getting into the 60s. We're looking good. We're going to glance at the 7-day forecast, and then we're going to have our Coffee Talk guest who's going to do this as well. So, Tim, I know you're there. Start studying this because you're going to be doing this in a couple of minutes, all right? I'll start. I'll take it now, but start studying because you're going to do the forecast here in a moment, all right? So, because the average viewer doesn't watch that long anyway, so odds are the same people that hear me may not hear you. Getting warm, though. Look at that. Upper 70s this weekend, absolutely beautiful. Lower 80s next week, beautiful. By like Wednesday, Thursday, though, I think we're all going to be starting to say to ourselves, really? Really? Like morning lows in the mid and upper 60s? I'm fine with that. But it's that afternoon, like 84? That's a little warm. So anyway, that's where we're at for now. All right? All right. Now, that said, we've got, of course, Coffee Talks Drive-Thru, which is perhaps my favorite part of this whole thing. All right? Joining us this morning, all the way from his house, everybody, say hello to Tim Johnson. Tim, good morning, sir.
Hello there. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. First off, I appreciate you joining us. I know we've had to make a little bit of an adjustment to your schedule. Let's start off. It's the drive-thru. So let's start off with your order. Granted, I'm not going to be making an order for you or anything because our budget is nothing. But what is your morning beverage of choice? We'll start there.
So if I'm at a coffee shop, it's a non-fat chai latte.
Ooh, yeah.
You see, I'm 5'5" and a quarter, and my mom always told me growing up that coffee would stunt my growth.
Oh,
And even though I'm in my mid-50s now, I'm still hoping for a growth spurt.
you and me both. You and I are not that far apart, my friend.
Because when you're 5'5", the quarter matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little taller than you, but not enough that it matters. You know what I mean? You and I would be pretty close together.
Right.
So Tim, you and I chatted just a little bit before Coffee Talk, but share with everybody who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I moved here to Central Florida about 5 or 6 years ago. My company called with an opportunity, and they're like, "You can either move to Florida or Pennsylvania." I'm like, "Oh, Florida!" And so we moved to Lake Mary, and then in January of 2020, we moved out here to New Smyrna Beach.
Love
I
it.
grew up outside of Detroit, and I work as a computer software consultant for colleges and universities. So pre-pandemic, I would get on an airplane every week and fly to a different college campus and consult with them on how to improve their use of
Yeah.
computer software. It's also given us the opportunity to live all over the place. We've spent most of our married life in Nashville, Tennessee, but we've also lived in Kansas City, Honolulu, a little bit of time outside of DC, and now
Wow.
Central Florida.
Okay, so I have to ask you then, out of all the places that you've lived, because you guys kind of have that unique scenario, what has been your favorite? And it's okay to say not Central Florida. It's also okay to say Central Florida.
Well, so weather-wise, I truly enjoy it here,
Yeah.
and am thankful for air conditioning in the summertime.
Yes.
This time of year, March, April, fabulous. But outside of that, Nashville is where we've lived the most, though. So Nashville is home,
Yeah.
but oh my goodness, it's a crazy town. Something like 1,000 people a day are moving to Nashville, Tennessee right now.
Really?
You can't build high-rise apartments fast enough.
Wow. Very interesting. Okay. So has work kept you here, or have you had options to leave and you've stayed? What has kept you in Central Florida?
Yeah. So now our move to New Smyrna Beach last year. My wife grew up on US 1 here in New Smyrna.
Oh, cool.
Her dad owned a business right in New Smyrna, just off Canal Street on
Yeah.
US 1, and so this is home for her. And while her parents aren't here anymore, there are still friends around,
Yeah.
and so this is where we are. I joke with my friends. I tell them we bought our retirement home about 10, 12 years too early.
It sounds like you either have it figured out or you've got it figured out to me.
We've done the single story thing here in Venetian Bay, so things are pretty well taken care
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
and it's easy.
Shoot, I drove through Venetian Bay, I feel like a week ago. My in-laws are over in Ponce Inlet, so we're always, and sometimes we take different routes back just to change it up. So I love Venetian Bay. It's beautiful out
Yeah.
there. Let's see here. Becca says, "Yay, Detroit. I'm from Westland."
Oh, Yeah, my cousin lived in Westland when I was growing up.
That's too funny. Dana says, I heard the same numbers for people moving to Central Florida.
Yeah, I heard something like that not too long ago too. That there's a lot going here. And goodness, I'm in the new construction part of Venetian
Yeah.
Bay, and they can't put the houses up fast enough.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
People to move in here. It's ridiculous.
That supply and demand thing is wild. Here's an interesting question. Nikki's asking. First off, Nikki says, "Good morning, Tim." And I was thinking the same thing, so I'm actually glad that somebody else said it too. Curious how you would compare living in Hawaii versus Florida.
Ah, so that to me the big difference is how far away Hawaii is.
Yeah.
When I was over there working before my wife came over, there were 30-minute time slots in a day that we could talk to each
Oh,
other.
wow.
Outside of that, I was at work, she was at work, she was sleeping. It was crazy. So, but weather-wise, well, actually, I always joked that in Hawaii, the easiest job in the world is the weather forecaster
Mm-hmm.
because it's lows in the 60s, highs in the 80s, 3 to 5 foot waves on the South Shores,
Right.
and that's it.
Well, and our meteorologist Cam Tran
Right.
worked in Hawaii at KITV. That's where I met her years and years ago. So it's kind of funny now that she works on staff with us. It's like, so what was that like? And aside from like an occasional hurricane that more than likely wouldn't hit you, but would get close to the big island and you'd kind of worry if it was going to happen. Yeah. So
Right.
interesting.
Right.
Very cool. All right. So let's get to some of the questions then. You give me a second. A couple of people. Janice has asked, what is your favorite season?
Ooh. Um, I like springtime.
Yeah.
Springtime is cool. It's funny, as we looked at our house in Lake Mary, it sold me because it was in March, April, and they had all the doors to the pool open and the windows, and
Yeah.
the wind was blowing in and the flowers were all blooming, and I'm just like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, there's something about I love the fall and the spring because that's when you're getting those dramatic changes for that very like there's nothing like opening up the natural light, just let it in, baby. I love that.
Well, I think coming from Detroit too, winter is such a time of death and bleh, that spring blooming was good.
How did you had just mentioned that before your wife had come to Hawaii. So how long were you guys apart and how was that? I mean, I didn't even think of you're like a world away from each other.
It's 6 hours, sometimes 5 hours the other time because Hawaii doesn't do the daylight
Right.
savings time. But yeah, I went over in February and she came over at the end of the school year, like your wife, Eric. She's a
Oh,
public school.
sure.
And so she came over at the end of the school year. I was over there the first time for 5 weeks. I got to come home and work for a week and then was back for 4 weeks, came home. And then at the end of the next 4 or 5 week cycle, she came over. So
Wow.
I was there for about a month at a time.
Wow. That's and how long was the trip to get there?
So from Nashville, it was a quick hop down to Atlanta and then 10 hours nonstop
Yep.
over to Honolulu.
Yep. So two planes. Okay. Well, so yeah. So at least you had an easy Delta trip then, right?
So yeah, and thankfully, flying full time for 20 years, you tend to get nice upgrades and things
Yeah.
like.
And on a trip like that, you certainly would want that
Oh my
sort of
goodness, I only did it not in first class twice,
thing.
and even that, a 10-hour flight in first class
Yeah.
20 years ago was not fun.
Right, because I mean, that what difference is it today with the lay flat beds and all of these
Right.
other amenities? I've had the opportunity to get like a random upgrade. I'm the guy, Tim. I flew a little bit for work here or there, but weather guy, you're going to stay in your market. But every now and then, if I'm wearing a suit or something, I would just get upgraded because somebody saw and was like, oh, that guy looks like he belongs, and
Right.
which is why I would wear a suit to the airport. But anyway,
I always travel like this, so I don't look like I belong. I'm wearing the shorts for the first time in about a week and a half here.
but you
Today.
were the one that actually did belong. That's the joke. But I remember thinking to myself, I've never been on a super I've done California, so like 4 or 5 hour trip is as long as I've ever done it. But I remember thinking to myself, I don't know how you could do a trip to Hawaii or a trip to China or whatever
Mhm.
and not and be crammed in that coat. I mean, people do it, but
For
that
sure.
is miserable. All right. Chris Pierce asks, here's the random fire. What was the most unusual gift you've received?
Oh, it's actually sitting right here.
Oh my gosh.
As a child, my parents gifted me a wicker trash can.
As a child?
I was like in middle school, and I didn't have a trash can for my bedroom, and my parents gave me a trash can, and it's been the family joke for decades.
I love that so much. I love that it's like, oh well, it's right here. I also love the practicality of that.
I mean, it is a nice looking wicker trash can. I keep a liner in it now, so it's not so nice looking, but it worked.
I love that. All right, Tim, your own question.
Oh yes,
Are you a dog person or are you a cat person?
definitely a dog person. He likes to jump up here and scratch on my chair, so he's not in the room with me right now. But Roman is my pandemic puppy.
Okay.
And so, yeah, he hangs out here in the house with me, and we'll have to see if the world ever goes back to normal and I go back to getting on planes every week. We'll see what that does for Mr. Roman.
Yeah, it'll be sad. All right, Cindy, scariest weather pattern you've personally experienced in all of your travels. What's the scariest thing?
One of the scariest things to me was traveling. I have no idea where I was or what I was doing, but I'm in a hotel, and they're like, the weather forecaster is saying there's a tornado on the ground in, Pawtucket County.
Right.
And I'm like, crap, I don't know where I am. Am I in Pawtucket County? Do I need to go to the bathroom and hide or not or what? So that was always interesting. And so I started paying attention to that. The second scariest weather thing for me is I was on a flight from Wilmington, North Carolina to Charlotte, and was in that sort of half asleep phase.
Yeah.
And heard this loud noise. And the pilot came on a couple minutes later and said we had been struck by lightning.
Whoa.
And then we circled forever. And I figured out later what it was is they were deciding if it was safe to land.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like that.
Well, that's weather.
Yeah.
That's wild. And you've seen so many different weather patterns from where you've lived.
Yeah.
How did you make it through, and people do it, right? But how did you and your family cope with those dark winters in Detroit?
Yeah. Well, so, for me, Detroit was as a child. I didn't know any better, and we just went outside and played and had fun. But yeah, the Kansas City time was very interesting, and the impressive amounts of snow. The first winter we were there was a monster snowstorm. I know Gary Lezak would probably even remember it.
Yeah.
It was Thanksgiving Day, and it was something like 18 inches of snow fell.
Oh, gosh.
And it was ridiculous. I'm out there. I'm shoveling the driveway for like 4 and 5 times, because if you wait and let 18 inches accumulate, you can't move it. So you have to go out every hour while it's still snowing and get the snow off. And yeah.
These are things, Tim, that I've never ever experienced being a Floridian.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why people have heart attacks when they shovel snow, because if they let it build too much.
Definitely. It was so funny to me, though. We when we moved to Florida, we didn't think about it, and we brought our windshield wipe scrapers in the cars, because just live in the cars. And we got here to Florida. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with these?
Yeah. Well, my pool, I'm filling up my pool. I turned the faucet on, and it's chilly out there this morning. I thought to myself for a split second, right before I came in to meet you, people up north have to leave their faucets dripping to keep from pipes bursting. And I've never had to do that.
Right. Yeah, no, the apartment complexes and neighborhoods put up signs to tell you to leave your cabinet doors open in a drip when it's going to freeze. And
that is a whole other world that
I'll take New Smyrna any day.
Listen, every single time it snows up north, you now have the ability for the last 5 years or so to welcome them all down. Do you have a guest room for your friends and family from all those other places?
Definitely do. At one point, it was Easter time a few years ago. We had 10 people scattered all over the house. We had 2 guest rooms in that house and 3 air mattresses blown up because the college choir from where we attended in Nashville
Yeah.
was in town to do a concert at church.
Yeah.
And so they begged us to put some of the girls in, and so, but it was like a February March night, and the girls from Nashville were out in the pool, and we didn't have a heater, and
Oh
I'm like,
my.
oh, crazy.
What was the temperature in the pool?
Oh, it was in the low 70s, or upper 60s. It was
Okay.
ridiculous. There was no way I was going to go anywhere near it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Max says that Thanksgiving snow story is why people love Florida and why those that move here have to have big homes, or at least homes with guest rooms. Like my whole family lives here, so our home is what it is. But all of my colleagues that I work with that are transplants, they have to have these homes that have one or two extra bedrooms because, especially in the winter, it's like, hi, I'm going to come visit for a month, or, whatever it is. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, my parents used to live in an RV and traveled, and they used to stay in Mexico Beach over on the
Oh,
Panhandle.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
But of course, it doesn't really exist anymore. And so since the hurricane came through there, they come and stay with us for a couple of months in
Yep.
the winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Why
They'll,
not? And
they'll stay with us for a couple of weeks, and then mom and dad will get tired of me, and they'll go to a hotel for a week or so, and then they'll come back.
see, that's smart. You got to keep the peace in the family. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Do you have any questions for me or for any coffee talkers? Anything?
Oh goodness.
It's okay to say
Uh,
no. It's okay.
I mean, you talk all the time, so
I know. Hey,
it's-
there's. What are you gonna hear? Becca says the first snowfall is beautiful, then people start driving, and it's gray and
yes.
depressing. And
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend. He tried to lure me away from Wesh to move up to New York a bit ago, and we were chatting, and it's like that first snow, that's beautiful, and that's when I want to visit.
Right.
It's that like 10th snow. It's that February snow where you're like, that's where I'm glad I'm in Florida and he can stay up in New York.
Yeah, I had an opportunity just a couple of months ago to work for my company up in Westchester, outside of New York City.
We would have been neighbors.
And I'm like, there's no way I want to deal with that every week.
I have to ask where in Westchester, just because I was looking at that not that long ago.
So it was at Mercy College, over by the river.
We 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 would have been neighbors.
Well, only during the week. I would have still come back to New Smyrna on the weekends.
Funny, I would have done the exact same thing. We would have been plane buddies.
We could have like roommate kind of thing.
We would have had a crash pad like the pilots do.
Yeah, it's always scared me too that the pilots have crash pads. I'm like, no.
Well, but think about it. They're doing it for work. I have so many friends that are commercial pilots that are based in Charlotte or based in Atlanta. They live in Orlando or they live in Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale. They fly up there. They sit. They go on a trip and then they're done. Why? The bunk bed.
But there are certain words you just shouldn't say in that
Well,
industry. Crash, hijack, bomb. You know?
that knowing enough pilots, working in the aviation industry, learning to fly, I feel like that's the reason that they used that terminology.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe sarcasm. All right, listen, are you ready to do the 7-day forecast that does not include snow?
Yes, I'm good with that.
All right.
And you told me to study it, so I grabbed a screenshot. I've got it over here on my other monitor.
Then you're prepared.
I always tell people I'm not as dumb as I look.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, like to me, looking at this 7-day forecast, it's a time of change compared to the past week, and I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Although if you're thinking about getting your outdoor decorations up, you probably want to get that done this weekend, because later next week with those highs in the 80s, you might get sweaty if you're putting the lights up on the roof and slip off, and we don't want that. So. But yeah, warming up nice. Like I said earlier, it's a good time to get your shorts back out, short sleeve shirts. It's not a three layer day on the Burris scale at all. So, it's looking pretty good. Also loving the fact that there's no rain or precipitation in the forecast. So the hibiscus plants back on the back patio are going to need some love and attention from me here. So looks like another good week, even though it's a little bit warmer.
It's not bad, right? I
Yeah.
like it.
It's all good.
Everybody,
Not quite as brutal to take Roman out for a walk in the morning.
yeah, well, and that's the thing is it's still cool enough to do that,
Right,
but
right.
comfortable enough you could go kayaking. You could do whatever you want to do, you know.
I mean, yeah, truth be told, I'm here in shorts, polo shirt, and fuzzy house slippers.
Oh, I've got the socks and shorts and obviously a floral shirt. I have to tell you, everybody is very compliment. Debbie says very entertaining guest. Thank you, Tim.
Ah,
Bob, very good interview, Eric and Tim. Nikki, great job, Tim. It's all great stuff.
yeah.
Thanks, Tim. Becca says, Tim, you just set off Bixby on my phone.
I don't know, Bix.
What is Bixby? Becca, you have to tell us what Bixby is.
I don't know that. Was it you yesterday that was giving Siri a hard time?
Yes. What a.
I was driving in my car and the phone was in the seat. I was just listening as you were on yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a disaster. Like, we need to. Oh, Bixby is the Android Siri. Well, you could tell we're Apple people.
2 iPhones.
Yeah. Work wanted to get. I used to have a work phone, and now I just said no. So I just have a Google phone. I have this, and then for work I use a Google phone number.
Oh, look at you all fancy with the 3 cameras on your phone, though.
Well, listen, okay, I've got kids, and you know what's funny? I bought a digital SLR when we had. I've always wanted a digital SLR, so when we had Eric, boom, I went and I bought it. I didn't buy the fanciest thing, because I'm cheap, but I bought a digital SLR. You know what I use it for now? Rocket launches.
Right.
Like, if I'm not with the weather lab out at the Cape doing a rocket launch, the digital SLR sits in my office cabinet, which that was not money well spent, but that's why,
Yeah, we were on a cruise for Thanksgiving. I took my GoPro with me, but all of the pictures were taken with this.
Isn't it funny that that's become the number one camera? I mean, and it takes incredible pictures. Stop, Siri. It takes incredible pictures. So, what are you going to do? Anybody have any questions for Tim? Tim, you could guest host when I'm sick or if I'm tired. Like, we just need to set you up with all the... You're a smart computer guy.
Well, I do have a speech communications degree as my undergrad and thought about radio broadcasting for a while, but never went there.
Why not? Well, in the day and age we're in, you should start a podcast. You've got the personality. You've got the you've got what it takes.
Yeah.
What stopped you? What did you say? You've got 10. You bought your retirement house 10 years early. So does that mean that we're 10 years-ish from retirement?
Yeah, probably 10, 12 years.
I know what you're going to do in retirement then. Start a podcast about computers, something.
You and me are going to be hanging out at Disney doing the thing, like my profile picture with Goofy.
Why don't you start a Disney podcast?
Yeah.
I'll come on and do weather forecasts.
That'd be awesome.
Let's do it. Tim, it was so great to meet you. And as everybody is so complimentary. Great to put, Yvette says, always great to put a face to a name and meet another coffee talker. Tim, you were great. Wonderful to meet you. I do hope one day to run into you at Disney. Are you guys out there often?
Not as much as we were when we lived in Lake Mary,
Sure.
but we do have a park reservation for Magic Kingdom tomorrow. And if I have a side hustle as the online pastor for our church, and I'm actually delivering the Advent sermon on Sunday. So if I can get that knocked out of the way today, then we'll probably be at the Magic Kingdom on tomorrow.
Oh, great. Well, hold on. I think I have a reservation, though I don't know if I can go. Hold on. Before everybody else, wait for me.
I hate this whole reservation thing, because it used to be Debbie would get home from school and it'd be like, hey, let's jump in the car, go down and have dinner at one of the parks. And it's like, oh, you can't do that anymore.
I think, I've got a reservation. I got one just in case, because on Saturdays we like to run to the parks because it's, it's something to do. That's not mine. Do I have Hollywood Studios tomorrow? I don't know. We've got a baby shower. I've got Hollywood Studios tomorrow in the afternoon. In the afternoon, we have a baby shower, so maybe I'll be out at Hollywood Studios in the morning.
Okay.
Oh well, so we won't run into each other. But if we run into each other, we have to say hello in the real world.
Yeah, definitely.
Debbie says I'll be at MK tomorrow. Maybe you'll run into Debbie.
There you go.
And the coffee talk love
I have
continues.
I have I have two of this exact same shirt for the Nashville Predators hockey team. I may wear it tomorrow. That way you can spot me.
There it is. Debbie's asking, what time do you go? I'm going in the morning. How funny.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be there early. My wife right now is still at the point where she likes to get the scooter to run around.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to get there early if you're going to get one of those.
Yep. Oh, my gosh. Look, you two are going to get together. There's going to be a coffee talk selfie, and this is all great. This is all great. All right. Listen, Tim, so nice to meet you.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for what you do. This is so much fun.
Thank you, buddy. And come on again. Come on again next year. We'll catch back up, and we're gonna be a year closer to retirement. We'll see how many people you can cram into your house in this coming year.
Be good fun.
Yeah. Listen, nice to meet you, Tim. Thank you so much for hanging with us this morning.
Thanks all. It's been fun.
Bye, buddy.
Talk to you.
Tim Johnson, everybody. A gentleman and a scholar, and probably the next big thing in the podcast world, which is kind of cool. Dana says, great meeting you, Tim. Nicely done. My brother says, nicely done. Listen, if opinions were armpits, but my brother had a nice one, so, because he would always get my head stuck. Anyway, bad joke. It stunk. It was bad. Anyway. All right, Friday. It's Friday. Be the sunshine. Real fast, before we go, for those of you that are still hanging out, I wanted to look because now we're getting close to Christmas on our BSR, and I just want to eyeball it. Oh, that's upper level. Here's surface. So that, I wanted to eyeball it because that's a cold front. December 5th. Let me just look at this real fast. December 5th. That is Wednesday of Christmas week. Cold front moving through. If that plays out... Oh, I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. Did you not see what I was showing? You may or may not have. All right. So Wednesday into Thursday. So that is going to be Thursday of Christmas week. So if that plays out, Thursday of Christmas week, that would mean that we've got a cool Christmas Eve and a cool Christmas. Okay? That's the first thoughts on where we're headed, my friends, come Christmas time. It looks like we'll have a front in the vicinity just before. I'd be okay with that. All right, sorry for I hit the wrong button. I need Tim to help me out with that. Good gravy. All right, listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will chat with you guys and gals tomorrow from the studio, and of course, I'll be posting to social through the day.